Hello. Today we're going to discuss the RF-654 and RF-655 form. These forms are the forms that are to be used when negotiating repairs on behalf of a buyer. The RF-654 form is a repair replacement proposal form. This form is for information and negotiation purposes only and is to not be included as part of the purchase and sale agreement. It does not go to the title company and it does not go to the lender. It is also non-binding on either party. So this is the form that you use to request repairs from the buyer to the seller or a counter proposal from the seller to the buyer. It is not to be used until all inspections are complete. This includes termite inspections, radon inspections, septic inspections, etc. It is also to be submitted prior to the expiration of your inspection period. So if your inspection ends on midnight the 18th, this form is to be submitted to the listing agent prior to midnight on the 18th, provided that the 18th does not fall on a Saturday or Sunday or a holiday. If that is the case, then it will roll to the next business day. This form says, buyer has made any and all inspections available under the inspection section of the purchase and sale agreement with a binding date of X. So that's going to be the binding agreement date of the purchase and sale agreement, and you're going to fill in the address. The parties hereby understand that they are required to negotiate repairs in good faith during the resolution period as set forth in this agreement. Good faith negotiation includes but is not limited to timely communicating one's position during the resolution period regarding any proposed repairs or replacements. The undersigned hereby proposes that the following written list of items be repaired and or replaced with like quality or value in a professional and workmanlike manner. Upon request, and note, upon request, either party shall submit a copy of any supporting documentation or any portion thereof substantiating any item listed. Do not send the listing agent your inspections unless they request it. They may request a certain page, they may request the whole thing, but out of professional courtesy and according to this document, do not submit that with your proposal. So try to be very specific in your request. It does say that they are to be done in professional and workmanlike manner. It does not require them to do things with a licensed professional. You have to make that request. List of items to be repaired and or replaced. And again, be specific. So let's just say that one of my things is a leaking faucet. You could say seller to have kitchen faucet leak repaired. Okay? You can also not ask, so you cannot ask the seller to have inspections done. So let's say that the home inspection says that you need to have the HVAC inspected. Here's how you do it. Seller to have HVAC serviced. Okay, we're not asking for an inspection. We're asking for them to have it serviced and any repairs recommended completed by licensed HVAC. So what you're doing is you're sending the HVAC guy out there to have it serviced. He's going to look at anything, and if there's any extra repairs, we're asking the seller to have that completed by a licensed person. Okay? Let's say that you need a termite treatment. Seller to have termite treatment completed by licensed HVAC. Now, the one thing that I would like you to know is that any electrical work, I would prefer that you ask for somebody who's licensed to complete that, even if it's just replacing a GFCI. Obviously, it's impossible to go through everything, but you can also say, or it's impossible to go through every scenario, but you can say photos of repairs and copies of receipts to be provided to buyer's agent prior to closing. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, make sure and number everything. Okay, so that you always know what number you're on. And then down here at the bottom, you're going to say how many days prior that you want these done. Please make sure and give them enough time, but don't wait until the day of closing. Okay, the matters will be completed. I usually do 2 days prior to closing. And then it says buyer and or buyer's inspector's representatives shall have the right to re-inspect at time to confirm that such matters have been repaired and are replaced in a professional work-like manner. So you guys, the buyers, can re-inspect themselves, but they can also hire an inspector. Now, hiring an inspector is on them to re-inspect, not the seller. Such inspection shall not limit buyer's right to conduct a final inspection as provided for in Section 8. So this can be done, and then the day of closing, you can do another one. Okay? Now, for all intents and purposes, we're just going to copy, if I can, I'm going to copy all this. Okay? Now, let's say that the seller comes back and sends you a number 2. Remember, this is not binding. And let's just say that they say, because you'll need to know this, you may want to counter something. Seller to provide copy of HVAC servicing from 2 months ago. In other words, oops, sorry, that shouldn't say HVAC, but that should say licensed termite. You get the point. Okay. So it says seller to provide copy of HVAC servicing from 2 months ago. In other words, we're not going to have it serviced again. We don't want to have it serviced again. The seller's going to provide a copy. Okay. So let's say that your buyers are okay with all this. Now, it doesn't matter to me who types up the repair amendment, okay? So all of these negotiations are going on during the resolution period, okay? So the first proposal is due before the end of your inspection period. You just have to finish your negotiations during your resolution period, okay? So everybody's come to a verbal agreement. We are going to go to the RF 655 form. Okay, this is the binding form. This is the one that everybody says we have agreed. Okay, I don't care who types this up. And really and truthfully, it's just whatever is most convenient for both parties. Talk with the listing agent or the buyer's agent, whichever one you aren't, and see what works out. And this just says, look, we've agreed in consideration of mutual covenants and other good and valuable consideration. This is what we have agreed to. You're going to put the binding agreement date in there. You're going to put the address in here. And then it says seller shall cause the following items to be repaired, replaced with like quality or value in a professional and workmanlike manner as the parties agree herein thereafter. Okay? And the same information that you guys agreed to is going to go there. And you're going to fill in your 2 days prior to closing. Now, if you're on the seller side, you need to make sure and let them know that they have to have it done 2 days prior to closing. There's no extensions. It does give the right for the buyer to back out 2 days prior to closing if the repairs aren't done. So that is very important that you have that discussion with them, because see at the bottom, the buyer and the seller are going to sign this. So this is binding, okay? So let's say that your last repair proposal was like, hey, seller's willing to give them $2,000 price reduction instead of doing repairs. Okay, so the way this is going to work is you're going to have 2 forms. Okay, you're going to say seller In lieu of repairs, seller to reduce listing price by $2,000 for a new sales price of, let's just say, $254. Okay? Now, you guys know this is happening. We've already stated earlier that these forms do not go to the lender, and they do not go to the title company. Okay? So, let's just say that you've got this done and the buyer and seller have agreed to it. And so how do you let the lender and the title company know that you're reducing the price without telling them it's because of the home inspection? You're going to do an amendment to the purchase and sale agreement, and we have gone over that in a separate video. And you're going to put the same information on there. It's just going to say seller to reduce listing price by $2,000 for a new sales price of $254. So this in lieu of repairs is not going to be on here. Okay? Now, let's just say that you guys come to a stall on negotiating repairs, and the seller is just adamant they're not doing anything. Okay? Or let's say that you finally come to an agreement that they're not doing anything and that your buyers want to walk away. Okay? That is going to be a different scenario. The notification form is going to be required for that purposes or for those purposes. As well as if you're terminating, you'll need to also fill out the earnest money release form, which we will discuss on a different slide. But this will help you negotiate through your inspection period and your resolution period. So hopefully this clears it up just a little bit. Just a couple of things. Just remember, choose your wording carefully. Remind your sellers that they have to have repairs done within the requested time frame. And in addition to that, make sure on what you're sending your lender and your title company.